唇に花びらが。
綺麗だったね。
桜吹雪だな。
My friends, we are officially finished with Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. And I was very, very, very pleased with this ending. And thank God. I feel like I needed one, you know? And maybe you felt like this too. It was like, yo, I need one. I need a good ending this season of just doo-doo ass endings. Like, I just feel like I've been disappointed a lot at the trail end of a lot of these shows this season. And I needed a win. And I felt like this was a big win. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, when it comes to the show, there's still a lot that I don't like. I still don't like the dream world. I don't like that the mobility between the worlds, like the travel between the worlds, isn't fully explained or understood. I don't like how they hinted at the grandpa having some kind of, you know, movement, isekai magic himself. I don't like that the grandpa was talking about this episode. Also, grandpa's best character. I do genuinely like his character. But I don't like how the grandpa was talking about, like, oh, Kazuhiro was always sleeping when he was a kid. But you know, I know, we know that based on the last episode, they disappear. So that means him and his grandma had to watch this kid at some point just disappear, and they like made peace with that or something of that nature. But the other component of it is he wasn't surprised by an elf or anything like that. So it's like, is his powers hereditary? You know, were they important in the other world? Do they also travel? Is that why his mom just disappeared one day? Is because she just decided to just go to the other world and fuck off? Like, there's so many questions that this brought up that, in my opinion, are and were unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, where the show felt most home and felt like what made the show good was just the fact that there was a elf from another world that got isekai'd along with our MC to Japan, and she's just figuring everything out about living in Japan and falling in love with Kazuhiro. And that's where I feel like the biggest wins from the show were. But the other world and all the nuances and all the constant twists and turns were just unneeded. And honestly, they didn't, in fact, make the show worse. Now, like I said, I was happy with the end of the season, though, because we got a kiss. And that is way, way, way more than I can say for a lot of the other shows ending this season. Is like, even the ones that are labeled, because this is not labeled as a romance anime. Let me just double check. This is labeled as just an isekai anime. Let me triple check. Let me triple check on my anime list what it's labeled as well. Just to make sure I did my due diligence. So this one is labeled as isekai and then comedy fantasy. So this is not even labeled as a romance anime, and we just one tiny kiss, tiny kiss, and an emission of feelings. This was leagues above all the other romance anime this season, and that's crazy to me. That means that romance anime has fallen off a cliff, and we've got do endings. So, anyways, the fact that we got Mariabelle and we got Kazuhiro kissing at the end of the episode and admitting feelings, you know, was really cool. And then seeing Mariabelle's kind of like giddiness and everything else after the kiss and admitting to each other that they're basically in love, and her, you know, having now a grandpa-in-law basically, and, you know, being accepted into the family. It was adorable and it was cute. And again, I think that's the best part of the show, is just when they are together in Japan, it's just something special. And on top of everything else of it being special with that, Kazuhiro's grandpapa was just an awesome character. He even talks like, he's like, hey, he got a little love for Mario, but he's like, hey, you want to come just take over my job? He basically saying like, hey, I like her so much and this love feels pretty good. Just come take over my job. Y'all just live there. Just live here and take over my job, which Kazuhiro should do. He should definitely move to the countryside with her. You get a little more, I don't know if the word's anonymity, but you get to be cloaked a little more. And because it's a smaller town, everyone kind of knows everybody. He can introduce her slowly into that community, as opposed to Tokyo, where it's like, it's a big major city, So, and what is he really doing? Is he really even happy with his main job and main life? Like, no, he could come over here, live with Grandpa, and the end of life, because Grandpa, he's probably in his end of life, he's probably in his 80s or something at this point. So he has, somewhere in the ballpark of 1 to maybe 20 years left, which, potentially could be a lot, but he's still in his end of life. You get to spend that with family who also likes your future elf wife. You can build a family there. You can have some kids. And then you still are able to travel to the other world with somebody knowing your secret. So if you do have kids, Grandpapa can watch them. You know what I mean? He can watch the kiddos. And he knows that they're out there in the other world. Like, that's such a sweet deal. So I just love, maybe none of that will ever come to fruition. I don't know. This is the end of the season. But just theorizing about the sweetness of his potential future is really cool. And then you obviously have Weirdra in the mix too. And maybe she just gifts him a portion of herself, and she ends up being his second wife, and she's like, oh no, it's totally okay because my actual husband has the real me. You're just getting like a portion of me that's not real. So I'm not actually, you get this version of myself. He can have little dragon babies too. So like, I'm just, again, all this is just bullshit foaming out my mouth, but the ending was so good that it got me to theorize about that. As opposed to other shows that ended, I just felt like bad taste stuck in my mouth, and I hated it, and I was like, this is shit, and I'm never gonna watch this again. Even if it gets to season 2 or 3, I'm done with it. This one was like, okay, legitimate ending, good love. If it comes back, I will watch a season 2. Hopefully it does, because I think it left a ton unanswered, and maybe if it doesn't, that's okay too. I think as just a one and done, the fact that we got a legitimate kiss and we got some admission of love, I'm okay with it. I would put that in the win pile. So overall, I think I would end with giving this show a 7 out of 10. I think that is more than fair and more than gracious, and yeah, really enjoyable. So if this gets a dub, if it doesn't have one already, which I don't think it does, let me just double check before I let y'all go. It doesn't have a dub yet, but I mean, it could potentially get a dub. If this gets a dub, I'll definitely support it. I'll rewatch it again. I think it is, worth the rewatch. I especially love, like I tell you guys all the time, I love watching dubbed anime. Especially, I love watching dub anime while I'm playing like games and stuff. And if I'm there and I'm playing, on my Switch or my Portal or something, I definitely love watching that. So yeah, no announcement of a dub yet. Maybe that I could find. I just did a quick Google search. I'm on Crunchyroll's website right now. But yeah, if it gets a dub, definitely support it. But thank you guys for being with me all season long. This was an awesome ending to a pretty good show, which I definitely appreciate. And yeah, make sure you guys support my spring anime. I have my spring video out right now of the top 10 video or top 10 anime. It's a video of the top 10 anime to watch this season. A lot of bangers are coming. Surprisingly. So I definitely love that. So make sure you guys go and check out what I'm going to be watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. So stay up. Have a good weekend. If depends when you watch this, have a good day. Peace out.